What if the most dangerous tool in your hands is the search bar? The governing body cannot afford transparency. They can handle doubt, but definitely they cannot survive exposure. This episode reveals 3 triggers that send the leadership of the Jehovah's Witnesses into a lockdown mode: information, ideas, and those who dare to speak the truth. Before I continue, let me just welcome you to Tell Me Dr. K, a channel in which we discuss matters of theological nature, no matter how difficult, complex, or uncomfortable they might be. Because on this channel, no question, no topic is off limit. In the last 2 episodes entitled The Governing Body's Greatest Fears, we have covered a number of fears. In the first episode, we covered the following. Remember that we are going in a descending order. Fear number 12, the fear of worldly temptations and moral freedom. Fear number 11, other Christian churches, which the Jehovah's Witnesses calls Babylon the Great. And then fear number 10, we looked at media exposure and investigations. Then we came to episode 2 and we looked at the following fears. Fear number 9, stagnation and loss of youth. Fear number 8, outside friendships or wrong associations. Fear number 7, higher education. So today we count down from fear number 6 to fear number 4. And today's title is Leaked, the 3 triggers that terrify the Jehovah's Witnesses leadership. Let's look at fear number 6, the internet and unfiltered information. Remember, we are looking at what is the fear, why do they fear it, and what they do to prevent that fear from becoming a reality. What is the fear here? The fear is that the members of the Jehovah's Witnesses will use the internet to find the truth that is not found on JWorg. They will research the organization's history, the failed prophecies, court cases, and ex-members' testimonials.
And I guess it just got to a point where I was like, I can't keep going like this, and I think just the curiosity got the better of me. And so I ended up clicking and doing research on something, but it wasn't about Anthony Morris because I was really just kind of interested more in like real facts and stuff like that. And one of the things I had seen was about the affiliation with the organization with the UN. And I thought to myself, like, there's no way that can be true. I'm going to click on this and it's going to prove to me that these people are just lying, and it's going to help, help build up my trust in the organization again. But of course, it was true. And that's when it's like my heart sank. And it was just like, what am I a part of? Like, am I in a cult? What is this? And yeah, so it was rough. Waking up was a really tough process for me because I was scared. I was very anxious. I feel like I was in a state of panic for a month straight,
So why do they fear this? They fear it because the internet is the great equalizer. Anyone can publish and anyone can be heard. And anyone can the Watchtower statements against evidence, leaked letters, confidential manuals, secret judicial committee recordings, all now available with a click. In the past, information was locked behind kingdom halls. Now it is unlocked with Wi-Fi. How do they prevent it from happening? By calling independent research as spiritually dangerous, by warning that apostate websites are full of lies and spiritual poison.
First, let's talk about apostasy, and we'll call it spiritual poison. Now think about poison. What's the best way to avoid being poisoned? Well, we have to recognize poison when we see it and then avoid it. And the same principle applies to teachings that could destroy our faith. And that's not always easy. Now, not many of our brothers and sisters would deliberately get involved with apostates, but it could happen without our realizing it. We receive letters at times from brothers and sisters who are troubled by something they saw on a web page, an accusation a rumor about the society or about the organization. And the problem is, they had no idea that apostates were behind it. It's tricky, because the apostates don't advertise, "You are now on an apostate webpage." They often pose as sincere witnesses who just have questions or concerns. And some who aren't really apostates can cause just as much trouble as the apostates do by their negative talk and criticism.
Father, Jehovah. Similarly today, lies and false reports against the truth abound, and enemies of the truth use any means to try to smear the reputation of Christ's brothers. But now what's the point? Your time here at World Headquarters, your time with the governing body, your time with the responsible brothers from World Headquarters convinces you firsthand that any negative reports that you hear about the organization are lies. And now you can thunder for Jehovah by defending the truth about those whom Christ appointed to take the lead in his organization. And look what you've been able to do. You can say just like John, look, I've heard, I've seen, I've observed, I've felt, that is me. I've had a close-up view. This is even a closer look than you can have on JW Broadcasting. This is one-on-one in the flesh. And you can...
By repeatedly instructing members to use JWorg as the only true source for spiritual information.
So don't be bogged down with these apostates, and be careful on the internet. We were talking about that this weekend with friends. Oh, my word, how many times do I tell you, be careful? You know, going here, going there, they'll suck you in. See, with some of this stuff, it can seem so innocent. We're just warning you that all we can do is admonish. Stick with what we have authorized. You'll be safe. You want to go out there, it's at your spiritual risk.
And finally, by labeling ex-JW content as Satan's propaganda.
Now, another person might say, well, I can see where those warnings about apostates apply to so-and-so. He's weak, but don't worry about me. I'm spiritually strong. I can handle it. That's like a weightlifter, thinking that he can drink a vial of poison and it won't hurt him because he's so big and strong. We are not so strong, so spiritual, so intelligent, that we can't be affected by the poison of apostate ideas.
Let's look at the Watchtower Court. Do not look for information about Jehovah's people on the internet. Satan uses apostates and unreliable sources to trap the curious. They fear the internet because it does what they can't, provide proof. And it is opening up your mind. And if it is, kindly do me one favor. Like, subscribe, and smash the notice bell so that when I upload the next video, you receive a notification. The governing body has actually labeled the internet as the devil's tool.
Be careful on the internet. We were talking about that this weekend with friends. Oh, my word, how many times do I tell you, be careful? You know, going here, going there, they'll suck you in. See, with some of this stuff, it can seem so innocent. We're just warning you that all we can do is admonish.
For many years, they've called out on top of their voices how dangerous the internet is, and that it is the tool that the devil uses to actually confuse the curious. Unfortunately, they've also started using it.
Welcome to JW Broadcasting. This month marks 10 years since the first program debuted. We'll take a look at the special role JW Broadcasting has played in uniting God's people.
So how can you condemn something and at the same time you're using it? So that is the contradiction the governing body is facing. And unfortunately, many of their members are actually on the internet. And a lot of them actually watch the videos on my channel and on other channels. So the thing that the governing body feared most has come upon them, as Job said. Let's go to fear number 5. independent thinking and dissent. What is the fear? That members will start thinking for themselves. Because at the moment, the governing body thinks for all the members. They are not supposed to think for themselves. They are not supposed to research for themselves. They are not supposed to interpret the Bible on their own. Everything has to come from the faithful and discreet slave who provides food at the right time. They fear that they will question leadership, policies, or doctrine using logic, conscience, or reason. Why do they fear independent thinking and dissent? Because these undermine collective conformity. The Jehovah's Witnesses leadership prides itself in the unity, and not just the leadership, but the members also. Many times, JW members comment on my videos and say, we are united. The brotherhood of JW. Other people are disunited. We are united. This can only be found in JW. I don't know how they know, because they don't even step at the door of any Christian denomination or be at any meeting. They will be shocked that actually other Christian denominations, and especially evangelicals, they will find that there is more love, more unity with diversity than in the Jehovah's Witnesses.
Really, really difficult, like you were saying, that transition between, hey, I'm not a witness, I don't trust organized religion, into finally like stepping in at church. And almost everybody I've talked to is like, yeah, once you go, you're like, oh, I enjoyed that. That's how it's supposed to be. That's what real love is, a real relationship. It's like drinking poisoned water your whole life and it were muddy, and then finally drinking like it out of the Brit and going, oh, that's what it's supposed to taste like. Gotcha. But I understand the fear in that, especially when you've been inculcated your entire life with churches are bad, churches are evil. They go in, they don't talk to anybody, they leave, and it's just a social gathering. No one really loves each other there. And then when you are encountered with that, it's just a sledgehammer to the face. And that's everyone's experience of like, wow. I guess, what are some of the biggest lies that you've been told? And then now that you've been in church, I guess almost a year now, what is it like? What have you uncovered?
Well, like I said before, I think the biggest thing that comes to mind is that, like, oh, they don't actually read the Bible or, teach from the Bible, or, that is not true at all. I mean, it's so much more centered around the Bible than ever anything I experienced before as a witness. That you're not going to find true love, with amongst other churches and stuff. And that's not true either. There's such, we've met so many great people. We have such an amazing community now through the people that we've met at church. And so I don't know, I guess that.
You've always told, oh, you will never find anything like that. Well, you do. I mean, it's not to that level, of course, but right. One is real love. The other one's fake. Like those are the people that turn their back on you when you didn't think exactly like they did. And the other ones, they're there for you through the thick and the thin. Even if you had doubts, you're able to come to them and say, hey, this is what I'm dealing with. And instead of running from you, they come and they grab onto you. That's what the church is supposed to look like.
And also that going to a church. I mean, I don't have to go to church to have a relationship with Jesus, I think it's good and it's been very helpful, but the other thing too is I could leave at any time, I could leave and go to a different church.
The unity the Jehovah's Witnesses talk about is conformity. It is not unity at all. It is enforced, no dissent. Here's the clip.
Likely you have noticed the difference in the wording of our previous New World Translation and the Revised. As shown in the Examining the Scriptures Daily, the wording previously was, observe the oneness of the Spirit. But now we have maintain the oneness of the Spirit. So that better gives the idea, doesn't it? We all have responsibility to do maintenance work, we could say, on this oneness that Jehovah loves. But what do we mean by this oneness? Well, it's interesting. In the Insight book, it says the number one, when used figuratively, conveys the thought of singleness, unity, agreement, and purpose or action. So no wonder Jehovah loves this oneness in his organization, because it results in accomplishment, peace, harmony, happiness.
Why do they fear it? Because one who questions becomes true, and because doubters are contagious. The governing body doesn't just want loyalty, they want your mental signature on every decision they make. One of the JW broadcasting done by Stephen Late emphasized unity and loyalty. How we love the unity that is found among Jehovah's people. Here's the clip.
We hate him. We oppose him. Another, we repudiate any form of prejudice, which is very divisive. We reject any form of nationalism. Well, those are just a few examples of how we can promote this oneness that Jehovah and Jesus love, and how different it is from the fragmented, visible part of Satan's organization. I mean, Satan's organization is fragmented nationally, racially, politically, socially, and every other way, isn't it? And evidently, apparently, obviously, the fragmented condition of the visible part of Satan's organization is a reflection of what exists in the invisible part of Satan's organization. See, Satan's a rebel. The demons are rebels. They are divisive, and you can be sure they have no unity among themselves. None between Satan and the demons, between the individual demons. But how we love this oneness, and as we contribute to it, and as we've had pointed out recently, we're one organization with an earthly part, a heavenly part, and as we contribute to this oneness, Jehovah and Jesus will love us and they will bless us.
The governing body doesn't just want loyalty, they want your mental signature on every decision they make. If you question them, you are in trouble. At the moment now, they are requiring people to obey regardless of what they are going to be told. I have done a video asking a question whether the Jehovah's Witnesses religion or the Watchtower Society is the next Jimmy Jones and the People's Temple. Because at the moment, the kind of demands and obedience and loyalty that they are requesting of their members is very close to the demands and loyalty Jimmy Jones demanded from his followers. Here's the clip.
And then also through COVID, I started getting very critical, especially of the governing body, because there were just things like their updates with the stuff with the vaccination, like how they're kind of pushing it. Then there was also that thinking. I remember like the elders bringing up this point every so often, and it's that like during the Great Tribulation, we might get some, or like the end, we might get some directions that seem unreasonable from a human standpoint, but, that we need to be obedient. And I remember hearing that stressed here and there. And I just felt like, I don't know if I can do it. Like I've had kids now, I don't know if I can, if it seems unreasonable, maybe I won't be able to follow that direction.
Now our final question. What is the link between Armageddon and obedience? We too have to be well-trained and ready to obey. Why? Because the obedience that we develop today will help us to obey life-saving instructions that we will receive from God's organization in the future.
Let's look at the Watchtower quote. Avoid independent thinking. It is evidence of pride and can lead to rebellion. That's why they frame disagreement as a spiritual disease. Not because it is dangerous to others, but because it threatens their authority. What do they do to prevent independent thinking and dissent? Number one, by labeling thought as Satan's influence. Number two, by encouraging rote repetition of answers from the Watchtower. Rote is the lowest level of learning. where a person just repeats what he has been taught mindlessly. No thinking is involved. No questioning is involved. No analysis is involved. It is answering according to standard answers, according to scripted answers. Here is a clip from a dramatized family Bible study.
How can we prepare ourselves for the events that are to come? Sarah?
We want to develop heartfelt obedience to the guidance that we receive now, so that we'll obey any future instructions Jehovah may give us. And so doing this will help us survive Armageddon.
Well said.
Number 3, by publicly reproving or disfellowshipping members who ask doctrinal questions. One viewer of my video said, when I was studying with them, I was tolerated. When I asked questions, they told me they will answer those questions later. When I got baptized, they did not allow me to ask any questions. Number 4, by discouraging any form of questioning, even in private study. Here's a real story. I asked how Jesus could return invisibly in 1914. I wasn't challenging, just curious. I was told to stop questioning Jehovah. Now, who is Jehovah? Because the God of the Bible, Yahweh, is questioned. People have asked questions to God. Job asked questions. David asked questions. Many others asked questions. And God did not obliterate them, because the God of the Jehovah's Witnesses is actually not the God we all know. If you are interested in knowing the God the Jehovah's Witnesses worship, watch one of my videos entitled, Who Do Jehovah's Witnesses Worship? Let's go to fear number 4. Apostates and whistleblowers. What is the fear here? They fear that ex-members will speak out publicly, that elders, Bethel, or long-time witnesses will expose internal documents, abuse cases, and hidden teachings. Now, why do they fear this? Because whistleblowers destroy the illusion of harmony. Because apostates tell stories that the organization cannot erase. Many of us who have never been Jehovah's Witnesses, we were just looking at the organization from the window with amazement and wondering, what sort of people are these? What sort of teachings do they get? But people who have been in the system, they know the intricacies of the system. They know the workings of the JW machinery that the governing body cannot hide, cannot disapprove when they begin to expose them. Because apostates tell stories the organization can't erase. To the governing body, apostates are not people, they are threats. Here's David's plan talking about how dangerous apostates are. They are painted as bitter, immoral, and mentally diseased. But in reality, they are actually the most well-informed people in the religion. Let's listen to a JW quote. Avoid apostates as you would a deadly virus. Do not read, watch, or listen to anything they produce. What do they do to prevent apostate influence? By shunning all members who speak out. By scaring active JWs away from apostate content. By labeling whistleblowers as evil liars, regardless of the evidence they provide. By instilling the belief that living means losing your entire community. You also lose eternal life. The leadership of the Jehovah's Witnesses speaks a lot about not believing apostate lies, by not believing what is found in the media, by not believing when people hear that a case has been settled out of court and he questions, does that mean that somebody was guilty? No, it doesn't. Neither does it prove that that person was innocent. Why, in the first place, if they were innocent, did they try to settle out of court? Most likely, they know they were guilty, or they were afraid of damaging information being disclosed. Here's a real case. A former elder leaks letters about child abuse cover-ups. He is disfellowshipped. His family is instructed never to speak to him again. Directly contradicting the Bible. The Bible says, what God has put together, let no man put asunder. And this is talking about marriage. So if JW can ask members of the family to stop talking to this person, including the spouse, they are directly contradicting Scripture. They fear apostates because they prove there is life after Watchtower and truth beyond it. In summary, what do they fear? Truth that spreads online, thought that cannot be contained, voices they cannot silence. But next we go deeper, all the way to the top, into power, prophecy, and the collapse of trust itself. And the next episode is entitled, This Could Collapse the Watchtower Society. 3 fears they deny at all costs. I hope you are enjoying this video. Thank you for watching episode 3. I hope you are looking forward to watching the final episode, episode 4. And if you have found this video mind-opening, informative, and encouraging, kindly do me just one favor. Like, subscribe, and hit the notice bell so that when I upload the next video, you will receive a notification. If you have any questions, you have doubts, you need clarifications, kindly put them in the comments below. Even if you don't agree with me, kindly also put the comments below. Even if you are JW, if you think that the information in this video will benefit somebody else, kindly share with them. Share with as many people as you think will benefit from this video. Now, to watch part 1 of this video, click on this link. To watch part 2 of this video, click on this link. To watch the video, is the Watchtower Society the next Jimmy Jones and the People's Temple? Click on this link. To watch the video, the God, the Jehovah's Witnesses worship? Click on this link.